guys, and welcome back to TK Sports YouTube channel and other platforms that we upload our content. I'm here with Chris to give you a review of the Euro last 16. We've watched a lot of great matches. I'm sure you'd agree.
Like the emotions, highs and lows.
Highs and
Highs
lows.
and lows.
Lows, especially for you. Highs for me.
Nah, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
So, Chris, once again, we have to talk about your team. I know this might be a bit hurtful than the last time because they hadn't played, but you lost to you lost to Belgium. I'm sorry, you lost to Belgium, and I just want to ask why you think that happened, how it happened, and what maybe you guys could have done differently to make sure that you could have gone through versus Belgium.
I think the biggest thing for me was Santos not realizing the best midfield you can use earlier, because I mean, by the time that he wanted to now play, Paulinho.
You like him?
Yeah, I do like the light. The
Yeah.
time he decided to play Paulinho, he decided to play Renato Sanchez.
Yes.
That gelling takes a bit of time. So for me, Belgium was already, I mean, even from the last World Cup and everything, you could see that the golden age is trying to, he's trying to produce something. So in as much as, De Bruyne could be now out injured, possibly, and everything, they were a very talented squad, and I think that's where Portugal definitely fell short. We managed to, put up a fight in the second half and everything, but I mean, usually football, when the form is not with you, is really not with you. So.
Yeah, and there've also been calls, I've been doing my investigative journalism
Yeah.
in the Portugal area. There's a lot of calls for Fernando Santos maybe to leave the national team now and maybe get in a new coach in there, get someone maybe a bit younger, to stay with these young kids who are coming through, so that maybe that guy coaches them for a long time, maybe towards winning a tournament. I don't know. I want to get your feelings about that. Is it Fernando Santos' fault that you guys lost years to go, or maybe with the World Cup so soon in 18 months, Cristiano Ronaldo probably still there? Do they still need to stick with the man that has brought some success to Portugal before?
The best thing that I'll say is managing the transition from the older players, into incorporating João Felix, Jota, Bernardo Silva, Renato Sanchez, Paulinho. That transition needs, a very good manager who can handle it. I'm so happy though Jose Mourinho went to Roma, because for Portugal, I mean, remember that time the world talk said he was gonna go there, but for me, I don't think Mourinho was gonna do better than Santos was. Probably more defensive, but I think now that Santos has probably learned his lesson on which best midfield to use, when he calls up the squad next time, he might know how to gel them better.
Okay, so maybe one more chance. You're definitely giving him the 2022 World Cup, at least years to go there, and you give it one more shot.
One more shot, but if I can be honest, if he fails to get that transition going by 2022, he might have to have the exit door.
Okay, okay. We've spoken very negatively about Portugal the first few minutes of the show. Please like and subscribe, by the way. But I also saw something in Portugal. That second half, Belgium barely did anything in that second half.
Definitely.
Portugal did a lot of good things. Maybe didn't create as many clear-cut chances, but there were one or two chances where it could have. It could have. Maybe it's just that the net didn't want the ball. But yeah, there was a bit of luck there involved with Belgium as well. Portugal really played well. I don't know how would you put it yourself, but I thought, if you're a champion, if you're going to get eliminated from a tournament, of course the last 16, you don't want to go out there in the last 16, maybe the semi-finals, but if you have to go out, I think this is the way to go out, showing some fight, the players try to push. You agree with me when it comes to this sense?
I definitely do, but if I can be honest, in as much as we were, let's say, we're speaking negatively, we're not really speaking negatively, we're literally saying the facts as they are. So going forward, the transition I'm talking about, or we are trying to insinuate is, can the same squad that put up that fight then equalize and then score goals? Because football, right now the result says 1-0. No one is gonna ask which team was better in the second half, which team was better in the I mean, for the purposes of this review, we're obviously gonna state that, but at the end of the day, as a soccer fan, it should be Portugal, Italy, and not Belgium, Italy.
Okay. So, yeah. What about in the spirit of blaming someone? I thought Torgan Hazard's goal was wicked. Maybe some people have said something about Patricio. I don't know if you want to play it that way as well.
As a goalie myself,
yes,
I will not directly say if I was in that position I was going to do better, but what I can say is maybe a bit of footwork come training for Patricio should definitely, take him along. Because now we'll look at Soma, who had a fantastic save, Mbappe save, and also that Switzerland game kept them in the game quite a few times. His footwork is very, very good. It's very, very good for me. So, yeah. We'll obviously look back to his errors or to how good the shot was by the end of the day. He conceded and we out.
The benefits of having a goalkeeper on the panel. At least we get some expert analysis. Yeah, when it comes to strikers, I think that will fall to me. I was a wicked striker back in my days when I played in primary school.
No.
I'm joking. I never played. Okay, yeah, so, but Belgium, what can we say? I was impressed by the back three, Vertonghen, Vermaelen, and Alderweireld. They looked quite solid, apart from the 2 or 3 times Portugal went behind them. I think Belgium are going to go very far in this tournament. That's what I'm just going to say. But maybe for injuries, KDB, Hazard. How is that? How big of an impact is that going to be moving forward? Because they leave the pitch free. Okay, KDB very early. Hazard quite late. A lot of guys are criticizing the manager that is injury prone. Maybe just take him out a few minutes earlier. Yeah.
I don't know how much of an event that will be, but definitely for Hazard, he's a bit inconsistent. But when he did play, he was quite well. But if KDB is not fit, they will definitely miss him. They're gonna definitely miss him. I hope they can find a way to restructure that midfield so that they can get the balance they always have when KDB plays. But they should be okay. They should be okay going into the next fixture.
Great. I think that's about it when it comes to Belgium and Portugal.
Yeah, definitely.
So, we're moving from sadness to happiness. The 3 Lions. I'll let you start on this one. What do you think about the 3 Lions?
I would just maybe state 2 players for me.
Yeah.
Declan Rice and Kevin Phillips. That has to be the pivot of your team for me. Those 2 gents in the midfield, they have been doing a lot of hard work. Declan Rice is keeping the basics. He's running when he needs to. Kevin Phillips is putting in a hard tackle when he needs to. So for me, those 2 have really come to the party for England. Then I'll move on maybe to Sterling. Managed to quiet down a few criticisms.
Yes, he's been criticized.
Yeah, he's been criticized. But what I would definitely say now is going to the next match and everything, Sterling cannot drop. The form. Kane looked a bit more involved against Germany. Lovely diving header in the back of the net. So for me, that should be a confidence booster. And Germany. I wouldn't know what really went wrong for them. Probably Muller will rule that miss, they will open goal, Pickford 1-on-1. You should actually see like a clip, when Sterling celebrated that miss.
Oh yeah.
That's when you see that, that miss was very, very simple.
Yeah, it was 1-0 at the time.
If Germany with the pressure that they were putting, if they scored that goal, they're definitely going for the win. Yeah. So for me, that should be my best highlight of the Germany-England game.
Wow.
And for you, I know you wanna say, you wanna preach, you wanna preach.
No, if I could talk about England, I think we'd go on all day. I was very happy to start off with, because for me, I think what it means to England, of course, Germany are not as good as they used to be. Let's be very honest. But what it means to England is they've always, under Southgate, it's always been beating your Swedens, beating your Czech Republics, beating your Scotlands. Some of those smaller teams, we would dominate them, not play well, but would win. We'd always be in a position to beat them. But whenever it came to playing a team of any sort of maybe decent quality, we always lost. So I think maybe it's sort of maybe growing of age and getting wiser when it comes to our manager Gareth Southgate, because the players are good, but we just didn't win because I thought it was because of the manager. But maybe he's getting a bit wiser. And for anyone who's watching, share with everyone, because definitely Gareth Southgate watches this show. Chris called for a change of tactics. We changed the tactics, and Kane became more involved. He got a goal. And can this be the spark that he needs for the rest of the tournament? When the games get bigger, then he keeps giving us the goals that we know he can give us.
Definitely. For me, in as much as Kane has had a slow start, with this quality, we know this probably these last 3 games, if they do reach the final, I hope they do. I mean, I didn't buy this for display.
And you still have to kiss it when we win the championship, remember?
Nah, definitely. I'm in as much as I'm a Portugal fan, I'm also I have a bias, I could say, towards England, and for me, for them to definitely make it to the final would be a great achievement for them and for Southgate and for the Queen.
Yeah, I think he's definitely kept his job. I thought if he had lost this match, it was going to be bad.
Nah, it was going to be over because following criticisms and everything, if you then manage to rise from that challenge where the whole world, 3.8 billion viewers for the football world, if that small fraction that is telling you to change something, if you can probably not exactly listen, but take some notes and then be able to change, I think that will go a long way, and it really did.
But I think he definitely listens to you. You tell him to change tactics, he change tactics.
Yeah, definitely.
And Jack Grealish came on, made a difference. That's when things started happening for England.
I remember I think it was yesterday after we saw the game. Then you're like, how about we start with Grealish? Because for me, Saka has been playing quite well, but for me, he has played the basic football that has allowed England to win. But come this business end of the tournament, we need a little bit of intent. Saka, I don't trust you'll be the best 1v1 winger that I would want to have on my team. So Sterling and Grealish probably should be the starting for the on the wing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, and I'm gonna go off topic a bit here. You see, with as was talking about Sterling, Grealish, and Kane, playing so well in tandem. The rumors were Sterling is the one who's gonna go to Tottenham to facilitate the Kane move. Is that gonna maybe change Pep's mind a little bit? That maybe if I get Sterling, Grealish, and Kane at City, it's gonna work as well as it's worked for England. I know it's a small sample size. It was 15 minutes. Is that maybe going to salvage Raheem Sterling's City career?
One thing that I do know about Pep, or that we've noticed, is by the time he shows that you're not really his starting 11,
he doesn't change his mind.
You will never be. You will never be.
You won't get back.
I remember Yaya Toure has to be one of the best players I've ever watched, but by the time that he was considered not to be good enough, you're no longer good enough. And you have players like Mahrez who are still there, Foden, all those people are going to be fighting for their place. So we'll see. Honestly speaking, with the rumors and everything, with transfers, we can only probably deadline day or just before the window closes. But for now, Sterling, I don't think he's got any future at City. He's got any future at City, but we'll see.
Exactly. Okay, speaking about a manager who saved his job, going to one who said bye-bye. That was Low's last game for Germany. Hansi Flick is going to come in. What do you expect? Do you think maybe Hansi Flick is going to be able to change the fortunes for this German team? Because he changed quite a lot at Bayern Munich, if you remember.
Definitely. The way I think it might be one of the same tactics. Probably, of course, we were saying if you're a manager and one of your tactics get, figured out, researched, you might lose a couple games, but with a full set of German stars, I think Hansi Flick does have a chance. But I think in as much as it could be a year from now, 2022 is not. I don't think it's that far. We'll definitely be giving another review on how well it did in those group stages or in those knock-on phases. If Germany managed to escape the group stage this time around, because last time out they didn't make it out. So
the life of a manager.
The life of a manager, surely.
Okay. So still speaking about Germany, there was a time after that same 2018 World Cup they played so poorly. I think they were last in their group. Then after the tournament, Jogi Löw is all like, I want to get rid of the people who are making us lose here. Homos, Muller, Boateng, you never play for the national team again. That's it. It will never happen. Then they started losing a lot of games. He called them back, Homos and Muller. Was it worth it now that they've still lost, or was he just supposed to to die on his words, or I don't know.
We'll now also talk about that issue of transition. A lot of the times, when we now have these players coming back into the national squad, then they're playing. Are they coming with the mentality to have the national squad winning, or are they considering themselves the seniors of the team? They have seniority. They can always be called back. They're the reasons why they're the reason why they can uplift the team and stuff. So at the end of the day, I would say it was just a failure of managing, because if you select a couple players not to join your national squad because
you say you want to move on.
Because you say you want to move on, then at some point you call them back, but you're still on the same position. Then, from my general point of view, in terms of transitions, that was poor. Quite poor for me. Yeah.
So
I hope Hansi Flick will come in with probably a different philosophy, different tactics, and he can gel that team, because that team is definitely star-studded. They have, if we look at it on the world stage, they have a player in each position that can definitely do the job for them properly.
Okay, so one last question before we take a break. Is it coming home?
I will joyfully sing the song In Hope. In hope. I have to say in hope.
Okay, that's it, guys. We're gonna take a quick break. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you in the next segment. To the second segment of the TnN Show. We are reviewing the last 16 of the Euros. Now we're going to a big upset. I think it's the biggest upset of the round, of course. France losing on penalties to Switzerland. I don't know what should think about this. Yeah, because I predicted that Switzerland had no chance.
Yeah.
It was a bad prediction from my part, but why do a team as good as France even get to extra time or penalties with Switzerland?
I have to be very open, about this. Every team that made it to the Euros this year were not there to participate. I think the one thing that I can definitely give this tournament this year is the hunger that every single person who traveled, to those 11 different destinations, the fight, Switzerland, we need to give them huge credit, very huge credit. In as much as France were not at their best, if I can be honest, but for me, Switzerland showed, a lot of character, to go 1-0 up, then 2-1 down, then to go 2 goals behind, then to recover from that. That was quite fantastic from them, for me.
But still, I just don't understand. I still don't understand why it happens, because you look at how Switzerland was so poor in the group stages. I think they only beat Turkey because Turkey were poorer than them. They look so poor. I just
Yeah.
thought they had no future against this France team. What happens? How? I'm still gobsmacked, for the lack of a better word.
I think the big players for France did not turn up. Did not turn up. Benzema did quite well for me. 2 goals. For that game for me, he tried, even the unconventional finish that he put. Touch from behind. Perfect lob over the keeper with his left foot. But for me, the amount of chances that Mbappe got, if he buries those chances, France have a way better chance, of going through to the next round. But the moment that you miss those chances, the moment that you clip the ball, Coleman is clipping the ball a couple times. Mbappe is wilding at the ball, he's lashing it high and wide. And these are the last 10 minutes of the match. All that gave Switzerland was just momentum.
And hope.
and a lot of hope. Come extra time, I think for me, they worked extremely hard just to make sure that they can go for penalties. And if you notice Shaka's body language, come penalties, he had that belief of, this could be ours. Because let's face it, Switzerland missed a penalty. They miss, Seferovic misses a couple, I think about 2 good chances, as well. Face value, let's look at the game from the time that it started to the time that it finished. Honestly speaking, on all those transitions, the team that definitely deserved to win
was Switzerland.
It was Switzerland.
Yeah, I think it's actually lucky France get to penalties.
France, for them, Switzerland were a bit rattled, when they conceded. Now it's 1-1, then 2-1, they're a bit rattled, went into their shells. But credit to the captain for showing character and making sure that his boys could continue with the fight for the game.
Yeah, so one thing I also want us to address is the group stages, because a lot of times it's the group stages doesn't matter as long as you qualify. Because you look at the way France performed in that group. Yes, they topped that group, but they weren't particularly very good.
No, they're not.
And maybe we gave them a lot of excuses because we said their group was difficult and so on and so on. But apart maybe from the Germany game where they win, but even when they win, Germany had a couple moments where you thought they could get back into that game. They weren't really convincing the whole tournament. And you look at a guy like Mbappe. I know he's too young. I don't want to bash him because he's too young, but the expectations, because of the talent that he's got, he didn't give quite enough when we came to this tournament.
Quite enough is, I think, 1 is the wrong word. 2, it was nowhere close. Nowhere close. His performances weekly, when we look at the League One and everything, that's if he still wants to play in the League One. He was brilliant, for PSG, in as much as they did lose out on the league and everything. For me, it was just poor. It was just poor from the young man. Come the next tournament, all other areas of his footballing career, I think he just needs to improve from the performances that he put in there. If you're gonna be rated as one of the top young players in the world, the performances he showed at these Euros were not it. Were definitely not it. He was far off his pace. The one time that we probably saw like some brilliance was that curl against Jimmy that was cut off for offside, and she's offside,
Rightly so.
Those are other things that you have to look at in someone's game. But without shame, France definitely deserve to go back to Paris.
Okay, no, but we've given you a chance to bash all the players who did made mistakes, who made everything wrong. But is it also time to look at the manager? Is it maybe Deschamps' fault as well? Does he need to, quit while he's still ahead and give this France national team to someone else? Or just because, as I've said before with Fernando Santos, prior success, does that shield you to give you maybe 1 or 2 more chances with this team? Because they've got quality.
I think Deschamps probably, it could be the same, probably 1 more chance. But for me, where he definitely got it wrong was really, there's no real transition that's happening in the France squad. They've had that squad for a couple of years now. Benzema, of course, coming in, and he hasn't shown that he doesn't fit in the squad, but everyone else around him, maybe his managerial tactics to go with three at the back, for me, he got it a bit.
Yes, why did he change it when
Why
he's
did he
always been
change it?
playing with a 4?
And and Langley hasn't played any real games. He's a bit. He was a bit off. He didn't look too sharp. That head against Seferovic, that was very weak for me.
Yeah.
Very
But
weak.
countries just call it classical Langley, isn't it? What he does at Barcelona as well.
Yeah, that's the thing. So
Yeah.
come these tournaments, you really need to think about that. For me, the usual back four, and everything, and Rabiot playing the midfield. You see, second half when he did change it, and Rabiot was now playing. Okay, he was on the wing for a bit, but he was now getting to the midfield a bit more and everything. Things got a bit better for them. So I have to say that change of tactic was.
You got it wrong.
He definitely did get it wrong. He might have tried to match the Sicilian formation, but truth is, France, when they have that 4-2-3-1, I think they play fantastic football.
And that's international football for you. International, the money game is just one game. Then you're out.
It's definitely a money game. Yeah.
Wow. So I think we can move on now.
Yeah,
We've basically covered everything. France are out. I'm so happy. I wanted them to go out because I just thought a lot of people rated them too high. I didn't like that. At least they're out. We go to Croatia and Spain. And how wrong was I when it came to Spain? Because I'm always against Spain because I think they also have a lot of fans, bandwagon fans. So I just don't like those type of teams. So I just wanted them to play that slow, boring football and get, consider go and go out. But it's like they're starting to get a bit of form. 5 goals in the last group game, 5 goals now versus Croatia. They've got their scoring boost on. They're gaining momentum at the right time.
Definitely, but if we look at that Spain-Croatia game, for me, they left it too late. They left it too late. Morata, I won't laugh. I won't laugh. I know you supported him for a good 1.5 years. You tried to.
Yes.
He has been in heated, comments with the social media and everything. But for me, he showed a lot of character. After missing a pen, and everything, they're managing to at least score. How many was it? 2? Was it 2 or 1?
I think 1.
I think it was 1. So it's a step in the right direction. But if Spain are definitely gonna compete the way they competed against Croatia, Morata needs to bag chances.
I think because they create a lot of chances for him. Yeah.
They definitely create a lot of chances, Busquets, Koke, and Fabian in the midfield. Sorry, it's not Fabian. What's his name? Pedri, exactly, yeah. Pedri. Pedri is playing very well. The Spanish midfield is bossing it for me, and the pockets that they manage to open up for the squad. I think for me it'll be very essential for Morata to put those chances away and make sure that he gives his squad a very, very big chance of going to the next stage, if I can say. Yeah.
But if you remember when watching this game, it gets to extra time. The first half of extra time, Croatia get a couple of chances when it's still 3-3. They go 4-3 up. That could be different. How funny football can be.
How funny, definitely.
So for Croatia, but is this it? I think this is the end for Croatia because Modric is just so old now. Maybe 2022 World Cup they'll be there, but I think they'll be there just to participate. But yeah, I think this was as good as it got for Croatia.
I will look at, I don't know, is it because just generally Spain were passing games, so Croatia were chasing the ball a lot? But if you looked at the fatigue Croatia had in extra time. Oh no. Oh no. One thing that I would definitely say was they were nowhere close. The fuel was out. First touches were no longer there. Simple passes, they were literally losing each and every ball, like a 5-6 yard pass. Someone could not even make it, properly. So for me, 1, they lost on fitness. 2, that the golden generation that really never had any okay, they had success, but we can't really call it success if you just, you know, get into the final or
Yeah.
whatever. We really need to win your tournaments, and that squad that managed to reach the final, I don't think this set of players are ever going to be able to reach any other top level. It's another team that's in transition and needs to shuffle a couple things around, and
New blood.
New blood. They
Yeah.
definitely need new blood. Yeah.
Okay, so now we're just gonna look at the rest of the matches quite quickly, so that we'll finish off the show.
Yeah.
Italy and Austria. I was quite surprised that it actually got extra time. I thought Italy were going to just, you know, during the 90, get it over and done with. Yeah.
As you said, you know, from the start, no team really came here to, you know, just to participate. They were here to compete, you know, to put in a challenge, to fight. And Austria definitely, you know, gave it their best. But one thing I can definitely say is that Italian defense, they're the back, they are watertight.
Very true.
They're definitely watertight.
Very true.
After a good 11 games in all competitions, did they only concede, and not in normal time, only in extra time. So do we give them an excuse of conceding because of fatigue or something? Because even if you saw the goal that went in, it's them relaxing, thinking that, okay, we've closed the match and everything. Then suddenly they considered a very, for me, the goal scorer did quite well, but generally, on if they're gonna concede a goal like that and it's no more time and they're playing against a big team, that was very poor. That was quite poor from Italy. But looking at all other aspects for them, they did quite well against Austria. You know, Pessina and Chiesa came on, showing that, okay, the team does have depth and they could definitely fight. I think for me that was the difference. Okay, when Mancini made those changes in extra time.
Yeah, and I remember the Austria coach, I think he hadn't made any subs then.
Definitely.
Was it a case of maybe didn't trust his bench, that he didn't even have the depth that he needed, or what? Or it was just poor management skills? Because maybe, you know, that's where the difference is.
Yeah,
that's where you earn your money as a coach. You make a good substitution and it works. We start to rate you as a coach. You don't make any substitutions. You leave it too late, then you lose. Then
you lose. Yeah.
We start asking these questions.
Would definitely ask. So yeah, I think for me that was the difference between Italy and Australia. Yeah.
Denmark and Wales, 4-0 to Denmark. I thought Denmark were going to win, but I didn't expect it to be by this much.
We have to, I don't know if it in football sense makes sense, but we have to give full credit to the passion they have for Christian Eriksen. You know, I guess the only dream they have is to collect, you know, I was saying the other day, number 10 shirts from
all the teams.
Ever since that day, all the teams, you know, to get to the final with the trophy and then deliver that at Christian Eriksen's house. And I think that fuel for me is driving them. They are showing, if other teams are not careful.
Wow.
If other teams are not careful, Denmark will definitely, because if I look at the chances that they took, they didn't score easy goals. They scored class goals.
Kasper Dolberg.
They are Kasper Dolberg. He did so well, head down. He struck into the ball. He's rippling the net. And if they're gonna get into the next tournament, into the next game, next round, they're facing the Czech.
Yeah. I think they still win, yeah.
That drive should definitely have them going far. Yeah. So well done to Denmark. You could not take anything away from them from that game. They were top class from the moment the game started to the moment the game finished. Even when the manager, you know, brings in the troll striker. I actually didn't catch his name exactly.
Cornelius. I think it's Cornelius.
Yeah. There you go. You know, lengthy, you know, strong striker, and he came on and he did the job for Denmark. So if I can be honest, they have a decent chance against the Czech, and we'll see how it goes.
Funny fact is, if Denmark win it this year, it's actually their second time winning it, and the first time they won it, they hadn't even qualified for the tournament. I think that's like Leicester times 2, Leicester on levels.
Leicester.
Okay, the Dutch and the Czech Republic. We've already spoken a bit about the Czech Republic. I want to say I'm disappointed, but at the same time I'm not disappointed, because I didn't expect that, a lot of people were thinking that the Netherlands were good. Yeah. I didn't think they were that good to begin with.
If I can be honest, I actually don't have words for them, but all I know is them exiting the tournament was, when a team leaves, let's say when France, like exited the tournament, everyone was just like, wow. But when Netherlands lost, people were just like, did definitely deserve to go through. So,
and the Netherlands didn't even get a shot on target that game. They were just so poor.
Isn't that another team that's going in transition?
Yeah, they've been in transition for 6 years now. They can't get it right.
Like, so I'm just happy that one thing that didn't make me happy is every team that's in the knockout stages right now, they deserve to be there. They worked hard to be there.
It's a fight.
If you have lost to a smaller team or to an underdog, it's not a case of your quality was off or anything, but it's just because the fight from the other team was just greater, and the Czech have been showing that. I mean, game in, game out, Patrick Schick is fighting. He took a penalty with blood running through his nose. No, I always tell you, I don't like players who
were soft,
too much in their emotions and everything. You should just, put the ball in the back of the net and then, celebrate in front of the fans with respect, of course, no racism, always, hammer on the facts in as much as other provinces don't really respect it, but, that's about it.
Yeah, finally, Sweden and Ukraine through. But, Forsberg, I remember the game last night, hit the bar a couple of times. How unlucky can it be? I think we definitely have to speak about the red card. It's controversial and not controversial at the same time.
But
so what can be done? Is the rule correct, or maybe FIFA and IFAB, whoever make the rules, can make it a little better? Because I know it's a red card, but I sympathize with that guy. So I don't know what you think. Can they do anything about the rule, or the rule is perfect?
One thing that I would definitely say is players now need to be more emotionally intelligent when it comes to challenges. We have been seeing this for many years. At some point, we were saying, is it deliberate? Is it not? Was the intent? But dangerous play.
It should be
dangerous play. Foul play should be foul play. Even that thing of, what is it, a penalty in the box? Is it a free kick on any other area of the pitch? If it's a foul, then definitely,
it should be a foul.
Then it should be a foul. So if I manage to, let's say, get the ball, and my 2 feet are off the ground and everything, if I get the ball cleanly with my stars down, then it's okay. There's no problem with that. But yesterday, he went high up onto his knee and
could have broken his leg.
And it was literally his ACL is it'll break. It'll definitely break.
Yeah, because I remember he had to come off straight after that.
He had to come off straight after that, and without your knee, football you can never play it. So dangerous play should just be dangerous play, and for me, referees obviously just take an eye for that. I remember even the Germany-England game, Phillips came in a bit hard on Toni Kroos, went over the ball, went directly onto his shin, and rightly so, the referee puts a yellow card, because that's the challenge. As much as you want the ball, it was reckless. So if you take the ball and you also take the man, but you take the man beyond the rules of the game, then it has to be a foul, and either a red card or yellow card.
You just had to put Kelvin Phillips and England in. Are we being fair now?
No.
And you just want to take away from a team? No, Chris, don't be jealous.
Actually,
no jealousy.
If I can be honest, for the transfer window, I actually hope man, you can do some business with Leeds.
Okay, yeah.
Top 2 pills.
Yeah, he's a great player. He's a great
kid. Then he can come to United. He's a great kid, but I'm sorry, it's the closest example I had. So yeah, but at the same time, the reason why I'm mentioning Phillips is because he's a lad I like, but at the same time, as soon as I saw that challenge, I literally shouted out yellow card. I was by myself. I was just in the game, but I literally shouted out yellow card, because there's no way you can go on top of the ball like that and then crash into someone's shit.
Okay, no, it's understandable.
Yeah.
Definitely. Okay, so thank you guys for watching our show. It's been a pleasure to have you here with us. We enjoy talking about football so much. I enjoy his insight. it corrects me a little bit when he starts saying things about England. Maybe he makes me see it objectively. So guys, just remember to like, share, and subscribe. So that we grow this channel and we just keep giving you more and more content on football. And I think I'll tell you this: the more you watch this channel, the more interesting Chris gets. He gets interesting and interesting day by day. That's what we're gonna do.
Surely.
So yeah, that's great. Goodbye.
Thank you very much for having us.
Thank you for watching TK Sports. For more awesome content from this channel, please subscribe. And also, engage with us on our social media platforms down in the description below.